Welcome to CNCF Minutes. In this video, we'll be learning about Open Service Mesh. Open Service Mesh is a CNCF sandbox project. So it is basically a service mesh, and it is defined as lightweight, extensible, cloud-native service mesh that allows users to manage, secure, and get out-of-the-box observability features for highly dynamic microservice environments. So what is OSM? We know that it's a service mesh. It is very simple to use. It is complete in the sense you can use it as a standalone solution, as standalone service mesh solution. So OSM is built around SMI spec and can be configured with the SMI APIs and works by injecting an Envoy proxy as a sidecar container next to each instance of your application. So every instance in the namespace which is configured or added to the OSM will be injected with a sidecar Envoy, and then you can configure all the SMI spec APIs. So it has built-in observability, and you can deploy out of the box Jaeger, Prometheus, and Grafana during the OSM install. So OSM CLI can be used for installation. So the CLI is very powerful to configure the service mesh to install various components like observability. And it is very simple to understand and easy installation, easy to maintain, very easy troubleshooting, and configurable via the SMI spec, which is the service mesh interface. Now let's see some of its components. So when you deploy OSM, you'll be getting OSM controller, which consists of a webhook and the injector. So whenever a new pod is created, the webhook will automatically intercept the request, and the injector will inject the Envoy proxy pod next to the application container. Then you have the endpoint provider, which receives actually the IP addresses of the computes backing the service mesh. Then you have the certificate manager, which issues the certificate and manages the certificates throughout using the cert manager. So SMI specification, so it is a wrapper around the SMI spec, which is written in Golang, and you can simply use the methods to retrieve the SMI spec resources. Then you have the proxy control plane for the mutual TLS and the gRPC connections, and you have the observability. You have Prometheus, Grafana, and Jaeger. So now whenever a pod is created, as we have seen, a webhook intercepts and forwards to the control plane, and then the control plane will add two containers, which is the init container and the envoy container. Now init container will make the IP table changes so that all the traffic flows via the envoy. Now some of the use cases. So you can apply policies, you can have your TCP and HTTP accesses between the services. You can encrypt the traffic via the MTLS and the certificates can be short-lived certificates, and you can even do the cert rotations. So you get the ability to rotate the certificate as often as possible, which increases the security. You can have traces for your metrics for observability. So you'll be able to collect all the traces and the metrics, and traffic splitting. So you can implement the traffic split between various versions of the services as defined in the SMI spec. So all in all, you get a lot of features like traffic shifting, enabling the mutual TLS and the rotation of the certificates, access control policies for the services, observability and the insights to the application out of the box, which you can enable via Jaeger, Prometheus, and Grafana. And you have your automatic sidecar injection to via the Envoy proxy. So you do not have to change any of the deployment. So you just add the namespace to the OSM, and you'll be able to inject the Envoy proxy. So the controller will inject the Envoy proxy. So yes, it is under active development, not ready for production ready workloads, as mentioned on their GitHub page as well. And it is according to the SMI spec. So this is the SMI support specification from the GitHub. So traffic target, HTTP, TCP route, UDP route, traffic split, and traffic metrics, and you can see the supported version for each of them. That's about the OSM. If you install it, you'll be able to see few of the namespaces. I can quickly show you. Now, as you can see, kubectl get nodes is it is a 3-node cluster. I have installed already OSM, and using the OSM install OSM CLI. So whenever you do an install, it creates a OSM system namespace and install all the components. So right now it has the Jaeger, Prometheus, Grafana, and the controller and the injector. So I have already shown you what all components are there in the controller, and the injector will be used to inject the Envoy proxy. So that's how it is. If you want a more deep dive session and deploy applications, see the traffic splitting and all those features, then put in the comment box. And do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. And thank you for watching.